What's up, Las Vegas fans? A bit of a different format when it comes to this week's video on the channel. I am fresh off of a solo trip to Las Vegas, and as a result, Ashley has divorced me. So this is it, the Divorced Dad channel now. No, I'm just kidding. She just wasn't there, and she's still a little jaded, so I'll figure I'll handle this one on my own. We're going to talk about some of the things that I got up to, some of my observations, some quick tips. We're not going to do deep dives. We're not going to offer full-on Vegas valuations. That's sort of a me and Ashley thing. But just some things to keep in mind if you're going to Vegas anytime soon, based on my observations. Let's get into it. All right, number one, landed, went right with a cab because I took a look at my my phone, realized that as soon as they send you that kind of notification, like it pops up almost right away, warning, this is a busier time of the day, and so prices will reflect that, whatever they say on the Uber app. I knew right away. I think it was $37. I'm like, I'm going to go with a cab because the whatever the governing body of the taxi authority in Las Vegas has implemented flat fares for certain sections of the Strip and all the way on to Fremont Street. So you know exactly what you're paying for. There is no deviating from that plan. I think the first section of the Strip obviously is the one closest to the airport. So that's your Mandalay Bay, your Excalibur, your Luxor. New York fits into that second section. So if you don't mind a walk, you can drop yourself off at Excalibur and just cross the bridge. I went right to New York. I think it was $25 if I'm not mistaken, but I knew it was cheaper than the Lyft or Uber. And that's the other thing. I, again, walked right out of the airport and right into a cab. There was no line. There was no walk across the bridge, then take the elevator up, then walk over to where you have to wait for the Uber, where there is always a gigantic crowd. I think we're automatically now programmed into just assuming that the Lyft or Uber is the best way to go. It is not, especially since they've implemented these flat fares. So keep that in mind. The next time you're going to Vegas, if you're doing either a cab or a Lyft or an Uber, sometimes it's not always the cheapest route. Sometimes it's actually considerably more expensive to do the ride share from the airport. So something to keep in mind. All right, stayed at New York, and this was fitting because on the heels of our last video where we gave New York, a 10 out of 10, a perfect score, our first perfect score for Vegas Valuations. You can find that video here. Was back, and it holds up. It holds up. Now, one of the things you need to keep in mind when it comes to our Vegas valuations is the value. Price does play a factor in our Vegas valuation. So, based on what you're paying, does it equate to a great experience in terms of what you're getting? And that's why we gave New York, a 10 out of 10. I spent 2 days there, and I paid $0 aside from my resort fees. We're not gold with MGM, so I still have to pay for my resort fees. It's $37 a night. And for $37 a night, it holds up, man. It just does. For what you're paying for, to me, New York is one of the best values on the Strip. The friends that I went to go see, they were staying at Caesars. And they saw my room tour video on our Instagram channel, and they were like, oh my God. Now, they were there for a conference, so they immediately said, you know, if they had their choice, maybe they wouldn't have stayed at Caesars. But Caesars, you're going to pay more often than not a lot more money to stay there, and the rooms are not as good, guys. I'm telling you, and we're Southside strippers, so that does make a difference too. If you want to be in the heart of the action, if you want to be center strip, okay. But to me, New York, for all of the amenities, for the value, for the staff experiences that we've had, also the check-in process. I'm sure you've seen, if you're big Vegas content, watchers, you've seen the long videos, the long waits and videos at like Flamingo or Paris or even Caesars to check in. I don't know what they're doing wrong with Caesars properties in terms of the automatic or automated or online check-in. I checked in to the hotel before I even left Alberta. I was ready to go. I had my digital key, got to Las Vegas, got in my cab. I immediately played a bit of a game, and then I went up to my room. Didn't wait in line. Didn't need to check in. It was all on my phone. So that's something else that we talk about when it comes to our Vegas valuations of resorts is what's the check-in process like? I want to start my vacation. I don't want to wait in 2 hour, 3 hour line. And it seems like Flamingo, both times I stayed there, I've had no choice. I've had to wait in the line even though I've tried the automated check-in. I've tried the kiosk. It's just, it's perplexing. I am perplexed how one resort's property can vary so greatly from another in today's day and age. What is it that MGM's doing that Caesars can't seem to replicate? I have no idea. But again, New York holds up to that 10 out of 10. All right, let's get into why I was there and some of the things I got up to. I was there to meet up with some friends. His wife was on a conference, and he kind of out of the thin blue sky said, why don't you come on down and we'll hang out in Vegas for a few days. And absolutely. You don't need to twist my arm. It worked out in terms of flights. It worked out that I got comped rooms. And it was a short trip, though, 48 hours. I can tell you flat out that's too short for me. It's only a 3-hour flight, but nonetheless, I think now I know for sure 48 hours is just not long enough for me in Las Vegas. I'd maybe try 72. Typically when we go, we do 4 or 5 days. And that's perfect. By the time the 5th day is around, you're like, I got to get the hell out of this city. But the 48 hours was just, it seemed really, really short, and obviously it was. I don't get a chance to see these friends often, and certainly to have intimate conversations where we're catching up, we're talking about our families. So as a result, and I don't know what their vibe is when it comes to me having a camera out, I didn't do a lot of vlogging while I was down there. I wanted to really be in the moment. I did not want to make anybody feel uncomfortable. I didn't want to have to filter people when it came to a conversation because I had my camera out. So no, I guess I'm a terrible content creator. I didn't create much actual content in any of the experiences that I did or any of the restaurants that I attended. I did take a few pictures. We'll roll some of that. But just so you know, if you're expecting, we're here, everybody, look at, like, that just didn't happen. I'm not that guy. And I really did enjoy the opportunity to just kind of catch up and intimate conversations with some friends that I don't get to see very often. So what did we get up to? Let's see here. We did Flavortown. Ashley and I are going to do a review on this one, so I'm not going to give it a quick Vegas valuation. We've eaten at Flavortown. They liked the nachos, the trash can nachos, so much that we actually went twice in a 48-hour span. We went inadvertently, unexpectedly, accidentally, whatever you want to say. We went there for a lunch/breakfast on the Wednesday because we couldn't get into the place we were hoping to get into. Again, make reservations, people. Make reservations. If you're hoping to get in somewhere, you got to have those because it's getting tougher and tougher, I've noticed, over the last several years. So they loved the trash can nachos so much that we went again on Thursday for kind of a last meal. I'm not going to do too much of a review on that one because Ashley and I had done that one, that we've done that restaurant, so we'll offer a deeper Vegas valuation vibe. We did Allegro in the Wynn, and this was the second time I've been there. Ashley and I have also eaten there, so again, not going to do a deep dive on that one. Great food, great service, very fair prices as far as I'm concerned. It's a little upscale. It's not like super ritzy by any stretch of the imagination, but to me, the definition or what makes the defining factor, if you will, a restaurant between just sort of casual and a little bit more, high end is the quality of service. And I tell you, the service is phenomenal at Allegro. I got nothing bad to say about it. Food was good. It was fine, and honestly, the value was there. I had 2 specialty cocktails and the chicken parmesan, and I think it came to like $100, which, yeah, you're going to have to expect that. If that seems steep for you, that's sort of the higher end stuff in Vegas. It's not even crazy high end. That's kind of middle of the road is the way I would kind of describe it. So we'll do a deeper dive on Allegro when Ashley's back with us. One of those places that we've checked out and we wanted to talk about. One of the things that we did that Ashley and I had never done before was Yardbird. Holy cow! Where have you been all my life? Yardbird in the Venetian. Whew. Those are some damn good chicken and waffles. And they better be, because the price was $42 $42 I saw for chicken and waffles. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. But it was actually more intriguing than deterring, if I'm being honest. I'm like, what are you doing to the chicken and waffles that warrants a $42 price tag? And the answer is they're preparing them with love. It was one of the best meals I've ever had in Las Vegas. And the experience was phenomenal. We were there right at 11 when they opened up. We did have reservations. And the waiters were all doing this as we walked in, standing. Hello, hello. I'm like, oh, crap, yeah, this is legit. These people are amplifying the level of service. So service was phenomenal. Food was delicious. A little pricey, yeah. I had 2 beer and the chicken and waffles, and it was just under $100. But including the tip and all that stuff, I just slid them a $100 bill because they were paying for it. My friends on their credit card. That's one thing I gotta say. The split billing in Vegas, it's like I'm asking them to split the atom. Hey, can you put this on 2 separate bills? What? 2 separate bills? Be still, my beating heart. I don't get it. We're from Canada. It's like if I were to go in with a group of people and say, hey, we're going to need separate bills, they're like, okay, no problem. If you tell people in Vegas that, it's honestly like I've asked them to defy gravity. You want to do what? I don't know what. And the only other thing, not to go too far off the rails, when it comes to the differences between Canada and Vegas in terms of restaurants, is why do you need my credit card? Just bring me the machine, and we'll do the math. You just bring us the machine, and you can punch it in right here. It's not as hard as you're making it to be, but they take the credit card, and they go. I was talking to somebody that I work with that they frequent Vegas, and it still bothers him. It's like he's going to follow you to the back of the kitchen to find out what exactly you're doing with the credit. In Canada, for those who may be watching this and are unfamiliar, that's just not how we play the game here. They come to the table, they say, will that be cash or credit? Or debit. And 98% of the time now, it's going to be debit or credit. And they say, I'll be right back. I'll go get the machine. It's a little portable thing that they bring to the table, and you tap, and it's over. In Vegas, they got the little book thing, the checks in there, like a little gift, a presentation. Here you go. Here's how much you owe us. I don't get it. I don't understand why it's so different. And I think that they would probably be able to expedite the process slightly if they were to just go with this method. And I think it would make it easier for them to split the bills too. But yeah, splitting bills in Vegas, I don't know, next to impossible. Anyway, going back to Yardbird, yeah, it was phenomenal. Quick Vegas valuation to give it like an 8.5 out of 10. Service was great, was phenomenal. We were treated like gold, and very classy kind of feel. The vibes inside, very, very, very nice. A little dark in the restaurant, I thought, for lunchtime, but hey, whatever. The food was 10 out of 10. Best chicken and waffles, one of the best meals I've ever had in Vegas. I don't care what you're stacking it up against. I'm not, not the best chicken and waffles I've ever had. The best meal, one of them I've ever had in Vegas. So if you've never done Yardbird before, and you don't mind paying a little bit more, definitely worth checking out. Another one we did was Vanderpump in Caesars. It's not the full name. Hey, I don't know who Vanderpump is. Is it a show? Is it on TV? What is the show about? Is it like a Housewives of? I don't watch any of that. So there's literally, the name Vanderpump means nothing to me. That aside, it's a beautiful environment. Very, very nice. We didn't go for a meal. We went for a few drinks, and it was good. The drinks were delicious. I had the cold-blooded. It is the blood orange old-fashioned. It was so good that I had 2, despite the drinks being $23 each. Now, that's typical higher-end cocktail prices in Vegas, so I'm not going to hold that against Vanderpump. You're probably paying between $16 to $25 for a high-end cocktail. And I would define Vanderpump as offering high-end cocktails. Beautiful aesthetics. Vibes in there were stunning. I will say the service, our waitress, really aloof is probably a great word for it. didn't seem to give a shit. She was like, oh, customers. Well, I guess come on in. I mean, I don't want to come down on her, but that's sort of the vibe that really I think everybody gave us. You can tell they're doing well. Maybe that's the game. Maybe that's what they're trying to play up. Maybe that's what Vanderpump is all about. Like, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Couldn't tell you. No idea. No idea. But either way, I'll tell you this much. It was a great drink. Would I go back? I don't know. If I were to give it a quick Vegas valuation, it'd be like 6. Because the vibes were great. The drinks were great. The service I thought was meh. It took a long time. One of my friends that we were there with asked for another drink. And all the waitresses look the same. It's dark. They're all wearing close to the same thing. All the waitresses on the floor that night seemed to have tattoos on their arms. So he, I think, almost inadvertently grabbed the attention of the wrong waitress. The wrong waitress. There we go. And she said, and I quote, "I'll let her know." I mean, maybe that sums it up, right? In terms of, I'll let her, not sure, not absolutely. Oh my goodness, I'll send the waitress over, your waitress over. Or, I'll let her know. I'll let her know. That's what she said. Like, we were all kind of like, what the hell does that mean? Just, yeah, it was that sort of stuff that when you factor in the price, I was kind of, the vibe's beautiful, but you can't, to me, the whole, I don't know, Lyft waitress, and I could care less if you're here or not, or wait staff in general, I don't know, doesn't play well with me. But again, the old-fashioned was really, really good. Really, really good. In terms of experiences, that was about it. Did a lot of great meals and stops in terms of cocktails. And night one, we went to the D. I love the D. In fact, we went to the D because she, the friend of mine, was looking for a Caesar. I don't drink Caesars, but here's what I know. If you love Caesars, you have to go to Bar Canada the D. One of the few places where you're going to get a legitimate, authentic Canadian flavor. Caesar in Las Vegas. Don't call it a Bloody Mary. Okay? Don't say, when I ask for a Caesar, which I never would, but my wife actually loves them. When we ask for a Caesar, don't say, ooh, no, we don't have those, but I can give you a Bloody Mary. That's like me asking for a t-shirt, and you're like, oh, you know what? I don't have any t-shirts, but I can give you a suit jacket. Not the same. I mean, sort of the same, but not the same. So yeah, in terms of anything else that we got up to, that was about it. Did a lot of walking, did a lot of hanging out, enjoying each other's company, a lot of catching up, and to me, that was the best part of the trip. Okay, so random observations very, very quickly. I know it was Tuesday night, but boy, it is getting harder and harder to find a place to have a sit-down drink and meal late at night. You can certainly find food options late into the evening, but this was 11 o'clock. We went to the Link Promenade on Tuesday evening. I got in relatively late, and we were looking for maybe a sit-down meal option. It just doesn't exist. No restaurants open on the Link Promenade. There were still some serving alcohol, but you could not, the kitchens were closed. Which, again, I understand, some of you may be, it's Tuesday night. It's Las Vegas. The Link Promenade, which is nothing but restaurants essentially, didn't have one open. You figure one would be a start. I couldn't get over it. So then we went over to Caesars, which is where they were staying. Maybe we can find a place to sit down and grab a bite to eat. Again, not a food court, not a food hall. We were looking for a sit-down restaurant. Nothing. It was crazy. And it's one of the things that I've noticed is getting progressively leaner and leaner in terms of options for late night sit-down meal options midweek. Again, I know it's Tuesday. I know it's 11 o'clock. But it is also Las Vegas. And I know that there are some other options down the strip but that's the thing. Why should I jump in? It's Las Vegas. Why do I need an Uber to get to a place where I can have a late night meal, a sit-down meal, and a drink or two? It should be available within, 500 feet. You'd figure that would be the case, but it's getting very, very hard to find it. In fact, I was really surprised with how thin the crowd was on that Tuesday night. Again, Tuesday night. But this is 11 o'clock. How often do you see nobody at the Bellagio fountains at like 11 o'clock? This isn't 3. This isn't 2. It's 11 o'clock at night, and it was super thin. I think it goes back to some of the observations that I've made over the last few trips, and that is it is becoming a little bit more of a different vibe in terms of who Las Vegas is attracting. I've noticed a lot more families, which is fine, especially younger families, kids and strollers. And to me, midweek, maybe that's what we're seeing, is that this was an excursion for the families, and they're all in bed. I had no idea, but it was pretty dead. I did eventually make my way over for that meal to Shake Shack, which was not what I had in mind. But if you're looking for at least an option to sit down in not a food hall or a food court, Shake Shack is open late, and it was like $12 for a burger and fries and a drink, and not like an alcoholic drink. By the time I found it, I was like, all right, fine, let's just do that. But good value. I love Shake Shack. One of the rare times I actually did take out my video camera to my video camera. God, how old am I? I'm so old. I took out my phone to record some content. Well, it was at New York, New York. It was actually as soon as I checked in, or as soon as I landed, and I wanted to play a slot. But I hit a bonus on Planet Moolah. Is that what it's called? I love the game. In fact, I hate the game, because I like it so much that it makes me mad when I don't get bonuses. I get emotional about it because the bonus is so awesome. If you've played it, you know. I got busted for filming. A lady came up to me within a minute of the bonus rolling. Sir, you can't record here. Which I get. You need a permit. I'm not getting a permit. I'm not going down to City Hall and pleading a case so that I can film a minute-long bonus. Who's getting permits? And certainly, of all the videos I see of slotmen, it seems like that's every second video in my Instagram Reels feed or on YouTube Shorts. All of these people have permits? They all filed the necessary paperwork? What? No, I think it's because I'm a big guy and I was right there. I didn't do it discreetly. This Planet Moolah game, if that's what it's actually called, I forget the correct name for it, was right by the check-in area. It's right off one of the main laneways, the walkways within the casino. I'm a large human being. I'm 6'4", and I'm not slender by any stretch of the imagination. So I probably stick out like a sore thumb right there. I probably could not have made it any more obvious. But something to keep in mind. If you enjoy filming slots, it may be about to get a little bit more difficult because that was something that I kept in mind every time I took out my phone to try to record a little bit of slot play. They were everywhere. Not just New York, New York. There were, every time I took out my phone and I was about to, it would seem like I'd get somebody's attention. And, I'd kind of discreetly put it away, and then they would go in a different direction. But, yeah, something to keep in mind. They're keeping an eye on it, apparently. And you have to have a permit, which, go to hell. I'm not... City Hall it is. I don't even know if that's the actual process. I know some people, the big wheels, the big content creators, they've gotten permission, like Vegas Matt, and that's great. I'm not there. I don't know if I ever would be there, and I certainly don't have the time nor the care to go and find out how I properly record how my slots play at $1.50 a spin or $2.67 a spin. I don't think anybody wants to see that. Like, it's not like I'm betting obscene amounts of money. So if there is indeed a due course process to properly record slots, nope, not doing it. I'll try to continue to, every time we go back, to film a little more discreetly. But aside from that, not happening. I did get a cool tip from a creator. He DM'd me, and I don't want to throw shade his way or to potentially get him in trouble. But thank you to that creator, big creator. Really was really nice that he made the point of reaching out with a tip. if it's something that I want to continue doing, which I'm not sure, but it was super, super nice that they reached out and said something. One more thing, one more tip. People ask all the time, can you walk from here to there? I love walking the Strip in Las Vegas. Love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. Honestly, I'm not being sarcastic. I would rather walk than take an Uber because you're seeing so much. There's that energy. There's the vibes. It's getting a little annoying with all the people, hey, come on over, come on over, come on over. Like all the crowd crap, man, especially the guys that put out the pylons. Stop it. You're taking up valuable walking space, man. You're being dicks. Stop. No one cares that you can do flips. I don't care. I can see a show where people are performing better than you if I wanted to see it. Don't do I'm going to set up pylons and take up a 30 by 30 feet piece of walking real estate on the Strip. Sorry, that's not why I got into this, but now all of a sudden I'm angry thinking about it. And they don't do anything until you give them money. All right, folks, we're going to need $20 before we start. And they do that until someone gives them some money. All right, that's a good start. Let's get a little bit more in the bucket. I don't even know if they actually do anything. I have no idea if they actually perform because the first few times I went to Vegas and saw this, it was mostly on Fremont. I got bored. I think the first time I gave them $5. I'm like, I'm not paying $20. I might as well spend $60 and go to a Cirque show. So I don't know. Has anybody ever actually seen one of these things do something? Or are they just, we're going to start as soon as we get a little bit more money? I couldn't tell you. What I will say is a pain in the ass. And Vegas, I know they're just trying to make a living. You got to clamp down on this, man. It's actually verging on dangerous because where this group was set up twice is right outside of Planet Hollywood, heading toward the south side of the Strip by the escalator. So what's happening is it's creating backlogs up on the bridge. It's creating backlogs down low, and someone's going to fall off that stupid escalator, man. It's going to happen because there's a gigantic crowd that people are now trying to shimmy through right off the escalator. For what? People that are literally doing, as far as I can tell, nothing but saying we're going to get started as soon as we get a little bit more money. And that aside, I know that was a totally unprompted rant. You can tell I've been burying that deep inside and just need to get it out. I walked from New York to Venetian, and it took me about half hour. Just to give you some perspective. Now, I move when I'm walking that Strip. I am motoring. But to me, why would you spend the money if the weather's cooperating, especially if you're a first-timer and you're healthy enough, I know I'm blessed to be able to 2 feet in a heartbeat it. To me, I don't understand doing the Uber from point A to point B, especially in the middle of the day if you're not dressing up and not wearing nice shoes to go to a show, go to an event, go to a fancy restaurant. Walk it, baby. You're going to see some stuff. You're going to get the true essence of the city. Like I said, it took me a half an hour. New York to Venetian, which is a pretty good chunk of the Strip. It just has some perspective and some prerogative because it's a question that I've actually heard asked a lot and that I have seen a lot. Can I walk here? Can I walk from this point to point A? Or point A to point B? Yeah, you can. Will it take up a chunk of time? Sure. But aren't you on vacation? Enjoy the stroll, baby. Okay, that's it. 48 hours in Vegas. I now know for sure it's too short. Really did not want to come home that quick. I could have spent another 2 days there. We are back April 24th through to the 30th. So a bit more of an extended stay. Ashley will be there. We're staying at the Luxor. So looking forward to that. Again, we're Southside Strippers, baby. We love the South Side of the Strip. Really looking forward to that. And we'll have a little bit more of a content there because it's just Ash and I. And you know what? We don't mind. We've been married for a while. We've got nothing else to say to each other. So we don't care if we got video cameras out.